mind telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. Oh gosh, I just can't believe this video I haven't made for a long while. Me, myself, and I. Oh man. Oh gosh. Yep. There you go. I'm right here. Oh gosh, it's been a while for me to make this video, and I am so pumped to talk about this topic. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but oh gosh, it's great. So after all, I just watched this video. Pretty much just like an hour and 40 minutes, and I just pretty much listened it through. It gave me a lot of flashback memories, a lot of sinful memories that I went through, and as well a lot of, like, you know, it does talk about like my divorce. It actually decodes what's going on with my dad when he went undergo divorce, and the court and the system. It's just too much going on. Now I know the video the screenshot that I showed you guys is nothing related to that, but it summons a lot, and it's been, I don't know, it's just lately it's been getting to my mind, like not about like the MGTOW or red pill or anything like that, but it just makes me understand like the different sets of it. Now obviously you know, on the video it just shows a lot going on, but yeah, I won't go too much about it. So I started to realize, I've been learning about Freud's theory, ID, ego, and superego, and it just shows how much we are, when we're in that sort of situation, how much a strong person you wanting to be. Are you a bump and grind person, or your mind telling you no? So I try to, like, I never put it in my my life going through ID or ego or super ego, but I'm pretty sure we go through phases. What we've done now, you think twice what we're doing. When you're young, you do whatever you want. So I'm going to use the Freud theory, the ego, ID, ego, super ego going through. Now ID is the instant gratification, like something immediately you want. Super ego is pretty much saying no. Ego is like you're thinking about it, what's the best outcome from having it or not having it. So pretty much you're thinking about your conscious mind, thinking everything. But what really struck me the most is the recent conversation that I had with this shop owner. And he's saying, Will, you're 28, you're supposed to be like getting married, or get a girlfriend, or, you got to do something about it, you can't be, single all the time, you got to do something about it. And I was like, yeah, I do think about it, everything like that, but, I got like my brain problems, I got emotional problems, and, just I got attachment problems, and, as I make me, myself, and I'm gonna talk very personal as well. So yeah, and yeah, it just kind of made me realize when I was in with my first ever relationship, that's my only relationship. It made me realize that urge, that instinct, you want more out of it, and I'm pretty sure most people go through that stage. But I just want to put myself in that shoes. When you go in a relationship, like you try to do, you got that butterfly feelings, and you got that heart beeping, you got everything's going on, and you would have thought, are you attracted to a person because of their looks, or is there something there, or it's just, there's a lot going on, and the later I find out I got attachment problems as I go through. I never really did have any nurture from my mother's side, as my parents divorced at a very early stage of my childhood. And after I watched, when I watched that video, as I mentioned with the screenshot, I just realized, like, I will probably do the similar thing as, you know, as what the girl's been talking about on that show. And it just made me realize a lot. There's so much instant gratification. And that's the video that I want to talk about, like, you know, instant gratification, you know, like, you know, for example, the shop owner's been telling me about, you know, his missus is a very high IQ, but him himself is not a high IQ, but he does share about, you know, his missus, and, you know, his girlfriend's been telling her, like, what type of guy are they interested in. And then they mention, like, oh, we don't want a very high IQ, we want an independent, fun, or just pretty much like decent job, or this and that. But they're not after like really like, you know, dentists or doctors, profession, like the high socioeconomic high IQs, because they see them as boring, or, you know, not fun. But they, like, you know, they want that funness, they want the whole package, including, you know, it has to be like, you know, decent looking or good looking or playful, fun, works in a corporate world. And I said to the back of my head, I'm like, my mentor is pretty much like that sort of figure, if that's what the girls are after. And I'm like, man, if these girls are after him, gosh, I look at him, he's like, there's so many girls are chasing after him. So I'm like, back of my head, I'm like, that's what all the girls want, that particular guy. But that's interpret in my mind. But it's amazing just to know that, because of you know, our parents brought us up and told us what we need to look out, what you need to do. You know, it's all about like, you know, try to do your best to date the best of the best, hypergamy, try to get into that sort of try to date high IQ or high salary. It's usually the high IQ. So you tend to think about that, you know. But then again, you know, when people think about, oh, IT, they're not that fun, but they have great salary. Or maybe dentists, they're not that fun, but they have great salary. But also you have like, you know, lawyers, or actually lawyers is a bit different. They have a mouth, they know how to talk. You know, like dentists or doctors or things like that, you know. And it's amazing, you know, how, you know, his wife's friends are like pretty, it's pretty much, that's the job professions that, you know, her friends are in. But they don't want someone to be like the same, or, you know, try to be hypergamy. Like usually, you know, if it wasn't for like medication, or you know, back in the days we have medication doesn't have, you know, advanced medication, or life expectancy is very short, as well. Like, you know, divorce is a no-no, girlfriend boyfriend's a no-no. Back in the days, they were, you know, parents were willing to, you know, willing to have their daughter to marry to the best of the best, as it keeps the function of the society, or the family and everything, and prolong the surviving rate. But now we're seeing this option of having, you know, nah, you know what, we're just gonna do what's best, you know, what's best, like, you know, what I want. It's all about myself. It's not about the survival, it's about the long run. And it's sad, you know. I could see, you know, a lot of, you know, when I grew up, you know, most of my classmates are coming from divorced families, and as well, like, I get to see, you know, myself, why we tend to like to go through the low socioeconomic behavior, because they're fun, they're sinful, they're dumb, and it's fun. But if you look at, like, you know, high socioeconomic or things, like, for example, right, if you live into a high socioeconomic area, like maybe like Balmain, you know, I can't say Newtown, but Balmain, or perhaps you come to Melbourne, you want to live in Kew, or you know, areas like that. But they're not that fun, because there's not usually no nightlife, there's not much junk food around, or it's very hard to locate supermarkets, so it's kept distance away. But if you're on a low socioeconomic or working class area, it tends to be like you get to see a lot more massage parlors, or, you know, freaky deaky stuffs, and you get to see a lot more junk food, You get to see a lot more. There's like a nightlife, and there's like restaurants, like, you know, when you compare some of restaurants compared to a high socioeconomic and a low socioeconomic, the high socioeconomic, the food is a lot more, whether they be gluten-free, organic, or trying to be like very pricey. It's a small portion. When you go to the low socioeconomic, it's tasty, it smells nice, it's just junk. It's not the good stuff. And it just made me realize, like, you know, we will like most likely get influenced with the media and everything like that, try to have that sort of lifestyle, you know, just don't care, and you know, you blow up, and you know, date as much as you want or do whatever you want, and you don't care about the future. So you know, you put too much junk food in your body, yeah, high chance of, like me, you know, gaining more weight, and fatty liver, and heart, you know, heart problems, and yeah, and then you have short life expectancy. But if you're not, then yeah, so it does play a role if you're ID or ego, super ego, because if you live in a high socioeconomic, if you're brought up in a very well-off family, well behaved, you'll most likely be ego or super ego, because you most likely focus on, if this action that I've made, what's the consequences, and you start to think a lot more about that. But now you get to see, you know, people doesn't think far ahead. I'm pretty sure high socioeconomic parents or families will put their child, giving what's best, provide them the best, or tell them what's the best, giving everything the best, and always prolong the surviving and the future and the career and everything. But if you're coming from a low socioeconomic, it's alright, you know, you eat, you do whatever you want, you party, you maybe take drugs, or have multiple relationships, or do whatever you want. I know high socioeconomic does that, but it's just that now it's just gone to a stage it's kind of get murky. But some of the areas cross over, some of them don't. So, or the mentioned, well, I mentioned to you guys. But man, like, nobody wants to do, like, you know, it sucks to do boring stuff. You know, if you want to do what, like high socioeconomic, you gotta, you know, you and your missus, high IQ, you know, like, all you guys to do is just work, and you know, entrepreneur, build up your business, and keep working. And maybe towards the end you have a boat, or you know, you maybe have a good house, end up in the hills or whatever, you know, the good suburbs, and there's a large money to be paid for, but you tend to spend like good quality food. It's all about yourself, about your health, it's about status. But when you're low socioeconomic, all you care about is just fun, the addictive, the excitement. You just want it at that moment. And also, you know, when it comes in, you know, and same with me, I got nothing against it. You know, when, especially, I think this is the tough one. I think relationship, I think if I think most of us will be ID, instant gratification, but I'm not sure about, you know, even though I'm at the stage of saying super ego, super ego, super ego, no, 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 no. I just want to study. No, I'm not going to look at a girl. I just want to study. You know, just keep on going. But as I get older now, like 28, I started to think about it with the ego sense of telling me, oh, you know, maybe that's right. If I think about the future, this and that, you know. But it just plays with you, and I really like this fraud theory. Even though in class, you know, in my uni, doesn't talk much crazy about it in a real sense, but because it's mainly focused on children, instant gratification. And it's the same thing, like, you know, for example, I wanted to buy an electric skateboard, and I already got one, but I'm just telling you now. Like, you know, everyone wants the ultimate skateboard, or to join that one, it's like 1,500. I just want it now. I want it now. But my ego kicks in. As I get older, my ego and my super ego start to grow even stronger and stronger. I know people like get on credit card debts, or trying to get on, you know, they always go through the ID. They'll do it the best as they can to keep on going. And it made me realize, very familiar with when I watched that video, the previous slide I showed you, is that it shows a lot, like, how much we human beings, we're not much difference. We want that instant gratification, we want that feeling, we want that addiction, we want that dopamine in our brain, and it's just fires up. And you know, it's like, you know, when I was dating with that you know, the first girl that I had, and that's the only one I had. It just, when you be with her, you just want more and more and more and more, and you'll do anything for her. And I get to hear the same stories and my other friends, and we're, buying them, like give them holidays or whatever. Even though they're close to breakup, they still do anything. They still want that companionship or things like that. Or mates just blew his credit card and do anything he can to have pleasure in return. It's just so much, like ID and ego, super ego, and it's just so much to go through. And it's just fun. For some reason, we just like to play fire. It's boring. Like, look at me now. I'm 28. I'm going to university. I have a boring life. I have nothing else. Just go to library, go to uni, and come back home. And just, I'm at super ego and ego. I'm saying to myself, I better get my act together, or else I'm screwed. Because the thing about the whole thing of this whole process is that most of us want the instant gratification. We want the need straight away, or maybe a quick fix, or maybe a long term, and that leads us to make us poor short-sighted, or like we have poor short-sighted, or like just poor vision to look what's the effect upon them. And especially on that video, it mentions like, well, this girl, she was dating, she's in a relationship, and the other guy was in the relationship, but somehow they went through online dating app, and out of nowhere they had a bit of chat, and at night they got freaky diggy, and after that 3 months later on, that means they're cheating. And the idea is super ego and ego, it does plays a huge role. And I truly believe that, if people doesn't think of the health, people think of the consequences, people don't think of like what's ahead of them, like the effect and everything. And when Stefan Molyneux breaks it down, it just makes more sense. And I'm not even prepared to make this video. All I have is just Buddy Freud, super ego and everything. I can draw around here, that's about it. But like, man, I just admire the whole thing, because the ID, ego, and super ego, it just plays a huge role. And Freud's theory, it made more sense, because all of us, we want that instant gratification, we want that dopamine, we want that addiction, we want it now. But we don't think of what's ahead. And I remember when I was turning 18, and I had to, I admitted I did wrong. Trying to get one of my mates' girl, and which I end up did. And I wanted that because I liked that feeling. I wanted that feeling, that addiction. And after he found out, we lost contact. I lost a friend. Not just a friend, but I lost a huge group of friends. And my name, my reputation went downhill. It's just gone over again. And it's fun at that moment. Your mind's telling me no, but my body is telling me yes. Curly, you really got me on that one. You really did. But yeah, I like to know more about it. Even though I like to go touch on more of the development theories on the Freud, even though it's very controversial when you talk about the anus, oral, the video, and it's just, I wanted to dig in a lot more, because I think most people doesn't realize about your midlife crisis, like your midlife, when you reach that midlife age, where retirement age, and things will go off the hand. If you play the wrong card, if you have that instant gratification and choosing the wrong path or the wrong partner or the wrong move, it will cost you even further on. There's consequences that means to pay. And that's why I said, Freud's theory, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but if you break it down in your daily life, oh boy, it really gets it down, really tough and down. Who would have thought I made this video for this long? But hey, man, if you have psychological problem or emotional problem or physical problem or cognitive problem, and somehow you got that instant gratification, or somehow it sparks that light, You just want it. You just keep wanting, keep wanting. What I'm trying to say is that identify it, know your limits, and always be in the ego and find out what's best for you.